everybody, and welcome to this special on the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn on the 9th of August 2025. So yeah, I'm gonna talk all about the full moon. If you've heard this before, if you listen to me regular, then you can skip the next 10 minutes and listen to what I'm saying about the current full moon. So yeah, in astrology, the full moon serves as a powerful symbol of accumulation, endings, and also illumination. The moon is at its fullest, it's at its brightest compared to the new moon when we don't see it. So yeah, the full moon represents the peak of energy and the manifestations of intentions that we set in the new moon. So a phase in terms of new moon to full moon is about 28 to 30 days, maybe 31 days sometimes, but not really, it's more like 28 days. So yeah, we set intentions on the new moon, we've worked through them for the 4 weeks, and then at the full moon we evaluate and we let go, or we restart or continue. So the full moon invites us to reflect on our personal journeys, encouraging us to assess the progress that we've made and the lessons that we've made in the past year for some of you, or the past 28 days. So the increased energy of the full moon can bring emotions to the surface that are hidden deep within us. So sometimes we can feel overwhelmed and just really hypersensitive, but this offers us the opportunity to confront and release what no longer serves us. And by embracing this time of release that the full moon brings, we can create a space for new growth and transformation, allowing our true self to fully emerge more fully. Of course, if you listen to me, I work holistically, and I believe that self-refinement, progress, personal development, change, whatever you want to call it, is more like a lifelong thing, rather than we get enlightened or we become healed. We are never healed, we are always healing. And sometimes when we think that we're completely healed, of course some trauma that used to bother us, when we work through it, it won't bother us or trigger us as much, but we have to allow ourselves that room as human beings to know that sometimes our past may influence our future, so that we can be aware of that and know how to deal with it. So when it is full moon, we can engage in practices that promote introspection, self-reflection, and us gaining emotional, spiritual and psychological clarity. So journaling our thoughts and feelings can help us process any realizations that come up, and meditation can deepen our connection to our inner wisdom. And rituals such as lighting candles, creating altars, or performing release ceremonies can increase our spiritual insight, and this can make it easier for us to align with our higher self. So the full moon encourages us to use the moon's energy not just for personal reflection, but also for setting intentions for your future, and also integrating the lessons of your past while making way for new opportunities. So now I'm going to talk more about the esoteric. So this is the surface level meanings of the full moon energy and the effect it can have on us. So as I said, it's an increased time of full moon, energy, moon energy, and this can lead to us being more sensitive and reflecting on all the endings that we've had in our life so far, or the endings that may be coming up in your life, and it encourages us to tap into our intuition or our deductive reasoning skills or logical rational skills, whatever. Some of us are more intuitive, some of us are more logical, and anyway, it wants us to recognize the patterns and emotions that have been obscured in the shadows or in your psyche that you've buried, because a lot of us bury our trauma, and this is why a lot of us escape into our drug, alcohol, or Netflix and chill, or other addictions that we may do, So the full moon and its light illuminates our inner landscape, so it's inward energy, whereas new moon is all about taking external actions, the full moon is all about going within and then reflecting on what you need to do at the coming new moon. So it wants us to confront truths that we may have been avoiding, and doing this can lead to greater self-respect, awareness, love, forgiveness, and deeper connection with yourself, because I'm a promoter of each person should become their own best friend and love themselves deeply, and this is how we can truly love others. And by acknowledging any feelings of regret, shame, guilt, bitterness, resentment and all of that, we can use this energy to manifest change within ourselves and growth, and transforming insights into actionable steps, or transforming those insights, if we are thinking about bitterness and regrets, into things we write down or voice note down or record ourselves saying, and we can make a strategic plan on how we can let go of resentment and guilt and shame. And remember, it's a journey, it's not a destination. We can also practice gratitude, and sometimes we can find it hard. We may not have things to be grateful for, but I'm a great believer that we can have at least one thing that we are grateful for, even if it's just the fact that you're breathing. Even sometimes you may not want to be, because I've been there. I know it can be depressed and stuff like that, but trying to focus on a positive can really help us, even though things could be bleak in your reality right now. So whether it be through visualization, affirmations, or releasing old habits and beliefs, the full moon energy gives us a chance for more personal empowerment, love and renewal. And by creating a ritual to honour our achievements and the lessons learned along the way, it can just help us feel more in sync. And actively using and engaging with the full moon energy not only increases our spiritual well-being and our mental, psychological well-being and physical and spiritual well-being, it also creates a deeper connection to the rhythms of nature and our own life cycle. So now I'm going to dig into the esoteric, spiritual, deeper meanings of the full moon phase. So again, as I said, it wants us to focus on psychological transformation and emotional and spiritual release, and it can guide us to navigate deeply rooted feelings and subconscious patterns if we're open to it. Because of course the full moon happens for everyone and not everyone engages with it, but if you're willing to go within the full moon energy, it really allows us to dig into the realms of our psyche, our hidden fears, our desires and unresolved issues. And it really is a powerful catalyst for inner work and shadow work. And if you don't know what those are, research, because I'm all about the research, But in short, inner work is all about self-reflection and exploring your thoughts, emotions and beliefs and behaviours to gain a deeper understanding of yourself. It involves examining your inner world to heal past wounds, improve self-awareness and create personal growth. Shadow work is a specific aspect of inner work that focuses on uncovering and integrating the unconscious or repressed parts of yourself. So the bits that you buried, maybe when you was younger, your parents or someone said you shouldn't do that, you can't sing or something, you can't dance, and now you have this urging to be a dancer, but because you've been told that you cannot be one, so you can confront with dark aspects and the side of you that may be a bit aggressive, and a part of you that may be confident for some of you, because a lot of the time we are told not to, especially in English culture, not to be egotistical, and anything can be egotistical. If you have any form of self-confidence, then you're egotistical sort of thing, So shadow work includes facing your fears, insecurities and traumas and negative traits to embrace your wholeness fully. And by acknowledging and working through your darker aspects, you can achieve great self-acceptance and transformation. And by integrating all aspects of yourself, you become whole, and then you'll be able to navigate the world in a better way. So yeah, full moon energy is all about embracing the duality of light and shadow, because full moon, we see it when the night sky, it's dark, but then we have this bright light, so it's a visual representation of light and shadow, light and darkness. And as we learn to balance our emotional responses and become more psychologically and spiritually grounded, we can gain wisdom from both our strengths and vulnerabilities, our weaknesses. And by being able to give ourselves space to facilitate this deeper exploration, we can journal to get in touch with our intuitive self, our higher self, meditate, and this can help us get more emotional clarity. And remember, in meditation, because there's a lot of myths, we don't need to still out all the voices, we just need to give ourselves the space to be mindful. Watch the voices, the inner critic that comes out. A lot of people say, I'm meditating wrong. No, meditation is all about you becoming aware of that mental chatter, and as you work through your trauma, you will realise that your mind gets quieter and quieter. And as someone who used to have lots of inner critical voices and now have found that kind of still voice within me, I can vouch for it. And the only way I got there was by working through my psychological and emotional trauma, and I'm not a fool. I know the only way I can stay here is by daily working through it as well. So this is why I say that recovery, lifelong management, personal development, whatever you want to call it, is a journey. It is not a destination. So symbolism of the full moon wants us to connect with the archetype of nurturing and intuition, and by inviting these esoteric insights into your routine and researching the symbolism of nurturing and intuition, so loving on yourself, self-care, positive self-care, not overindulging and calling it self-care like, oh look, I'm doing self-care, I'm drinking all the drink I want to drink, and I'm indulging in all the food and I'm being reckless. No, that's not what healthy self-care is about. Providing yourself with the things that are nurturing yourself, so looking after your physical health, mental health and spiritual health, so we can empower ourselves to make psychological shifts, and this can lead to a more authentic expression of our emotions and our self-expression in general, and give us a clearer vision of our path ahead. And it can also increase our self-awareness and love, and strengthens our capacity to manifest our intentions as we move forward. So now I'm just going to talk a bit more about the rituals we can do. So again, as I said, we can set intention, whether we voice record them, write them down in a journal. We can create a sacred space. Some people do altars with candles and crystals and other symbolic representations, and whatever you choose, pictures, tarot cards. But remember, these are just symbols. The real power to transform is within you, and you can do it without tarot, crystals and all of that. But at the beginning of our journeys, we need to use these things to focus us on things higher than ourselves, so we can reflect on our goals, our intentions, and write down what we wish to release and what we aspire to invite into our lives. Rituals such as burning paper and then releasing our intentions to the universe, or burying our intentions in the earth, can symbolise letting go, and placing our new intentions visible on an altar, or sticking it up in your home or somewhere personal to you, or as a sort of like sticking it on your phone screen, something like that, whatever you want to do. Also, visualization, different form of meditation, breath work meditation, mindfulness meditation, mantra meditation, can amplify your focus at this time. And as you sit in stillness, as still as you can get, and envision the light of the moon, surrounding you and nurturing you and charging your intentions, this can be really empowering, and it can also strengthen your commitment to your goals, but also can create a deeper connection with the rhythms of nature, allowing you to align your personal growth with the universe cycles, and engaging in these rituals can give you significant healing and manifest positive changes in your life if you're willing to take those daily steps to change your life and that positive action overall, as well as forgiving yourself for all your mistakes and realizing failure is part of the journey as much as success, you know. So ultimately, the full moon is about reflecting on your personal experiences and how they align with lunar cycles in general. Journaling your emotions can, reveal patterns in your life, such as some of you may feel a surge of creativity, or some of you may face emotional challenges or different things in between. And by identifying, these moments, these feelings, you can create a personal narrative that resonates with the full moon's energy, allowing you to recognize how it influences your life overall. Additionally, you can reflect on your relationship, the relationship you should be having with yourself, or relationships in your life in general. Are they nurturing you, or are they taking away from your energy? What can you improve in your relationships? What can you improve in yourself to make sure that you create better and healthier relationships? Also, you could reflect on times where you felt really deeply connected to others and experienced an increase in intuition or connectedness, can provide insights into unique sort of like spiritual vibrations present at this time, and just give you a sense of warmth or clarity on what you need to do in your relationships. As I said earlier, some of you may decide to let go of relationships, so ultimately embracing and reflecting during the full moon energy can create a sense of gratitude and awareness, love and acceptance and forgiveness, increasing your ability to use the energy of the full moon for intention setting and healing. And by actively engaging with your past experiences and thinking about your future and what you need to let go of in order to have the future you want, you can develop a richer connection to the full moon and moon cycles in general, and also just allow the full moon and its presence to serve as a guiding light in your life. So yeah, that's the end of this. So this full moon is about karmic achievement, offering a gateway, a portal for us to courageously lead and to gain recognition. For some of you it be external recognition, for others it be inner recognition. So this full sturgeon moon happens at 8:55 GMT time, and it's a release gateway for outdated authority routines and structures and systems, while honouring the genuine courage you've shown throughout your journey. So the energy frequency is, Capricorn's an earth sign, cardinal, doing, taking action, earth sign. It reminds us about achieving mastery, not only over, our career and stuff like that, but our emotions and psychological and spiritual needs. It's about routine, structural release, and not just chaotic release, but making a plan to let go of the things you need to let go of, and also karmic recognition. So the moon is in the 23rd degree of Capricorn, and the sun, what's opposing the full moon, because that's what full moon is when the sun's opposing the moon, or the moon's opposing the sun, whichever way you want to look at it. And the sun is in the 23rd of Cancer. The moon makes a biquintal to Venus, the moon and the sun semi-square Mars, Saturn and Neptune, and there's a grand trine between Mars, Pluto and Uranus, which I will go in more depth about later. So the 23rd degree of Capricorn has the Sabian symbology of 2 awards for bravery in war, and the moon enters Aquarius at 9:42, and this activates humanitarian consciousness. And we also have the lunar eclipses in Aquarius as well, so you can see it as a pre-activation to this lunar eclipse that happens on the 7th of September. So the 23rd degree Capricorn rules the muscle insertions of the upper and lower legs, and the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn arrives like a seasoned, general, scoping, checking out the field, asking us to take stock of what we've built, what we've conquered, and most importantly, what battles were truly worth fighting. And the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn also, wants us to think about our earned recognition and the wisdom that comes from, persistently trying to reach our goals over time. And it combines the ancient wisdom of the sturgeon fish with Capricorn's mountain climbing determination, creating a unique opportunity to release old patterns of struggle while being open and accepting well-deserved recognition. And the effects of this moon can be really deep and next level, because this isn't about participation trophies or hollow victories. It's about genuine acknowledgement for the courage you've shown in life's most challenging experiences. And you may think, I ain't been courageous while you're alive. Hey, so we all know that life can be hard, so giving yourself the flowers where needed, and knowing that it's not about comparing your journey to anyone else, but accepting your journey for what it is and seeing yourself in your full glory, even if you don't like aspects of yourself. This full moon is giving us the sort of like permission to love ourselves for who we are now. So it's all about releasing the harsh inner critic that never thinks you've done enough, and instead honouring both your public achievements and private acts of courage. Capricorn energy is the mountain goat that keeps climbing, sure-footed and determined, even when the terrain, life experiences, life gets treacherous, hard, chaotic. We lose, it reminds us to keep and getting back up after each fall, and it wants us to also take a moment out to pause on that rocky ledge and acknowledge just how far you actually climbed, and the full moon in Capricorn meaning goes beyond, the simple achievement. It's about releasing our stories of not being successful enough or recognised enough, as I said, and the opposing sun in Cancer adds beautiful emotional wisdom to this full moon, and while Capricorn measures success in touchable, tangible achievements, Cancer reminds us that true success includes how well we've nurtured ourselves and others along the journey. So in terms of the general effect on our relationships, it wants us to release the need to prove our worth through constant struggle. And what makes this full sturgeon moon in Capricorn most potent and powerful, is the grand trine in the earth signs, with Mars in Virgo, Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. And this creates what I call like a earth portal or doorway, gateway, whatever, and it's sort of like a rare cosmic configuration, that makes practical magic not just possible but inevitable. All of this happening on the Capricorn full moon as well. Grand trines happen quite often, but this configuration doesn't. So the full moon in Capricorn literally is like the universe telling us, conspiring to help us release whatever has been holding us back, getting ready for that lunar eclipse, letting go of the things that have been blocking our path to genuine sustainable success. And the multiple semi-square aspects create constructive tension, like the pressure that creates diamonds, and these aspects push us to release our patterns of struggle and step into a more mature relationship with power, responsibility and our dreams, asking us to start fighting battles that aren't ours and start climbing victories that are rightfully yours. It's powerful energy to release perfectionism, workaholism, burnout and overproductivity, and the belief that you must suffer to succeed. The timing is perfect too, because the moon is moving into Aquarius later on in the evening. So once we release these old Capricorn patterns, we're immediately being guided towards more revolutionary, innovative, fresh, new approaches to success. So that's the summary version, guys. Now you know me, I'm going to go in depth. So if you want to know more, keep keep on listening. So the Sturgeon moon takes its name from the August peak fishing season for sturgeon in North America, and these ancient powerful fish, some of them living over 100 years, represent longevity, wisdom earned through experiences, and the ability to handle, find their way through both shallow and deep waters with equal grace. So positively, the Sturgeon moon activates ancient wisdom, deep intuitive knowledge from life experience and patient observation. It builds our resilience and endurance, the ability to weather, go through life's experiences, storms, ups and downs with quiet strength and unwavering determination. It allows us to deal with emotional depth and become skilled at moving between surface emotions and profound inner truths. It gives us abundant harvest energy and recognition that patience and persistence create lasting abundance. Negatively, we can have the tendency to move too slowly when decisive action is needed, the risk of getting stuck in deep feelings without healthy expression, clinging to old ways even when change would be beneficial, hoarding, not sharing freely mentality, fear-based accumulation of resources, relationships, experiences, So the best use of this energy is to tap into ancestral wisdom and time-tested practices, build long-term security through strategic investments, practice deep emotional healing by confronting root issues, honor your life's lessons and accumulate wisdom, create lasting foundations desired to endure and strengthen you with time, So the full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn wants us to step into leadership. It reminds us of material abundance flowing from past efforts. So some of you may see material money and other rewards from the things you've done in your past, Gives us the ability to mentor others from your position of earned expertise. This can come from years at college, university, in job, or just years of living life, street smarts versus book smarts. Expertise is all the same, right? And it can also include receiving awards, promotions, and acknowledgement that reflects your true value and contribution for some of you. In terms of the challenging aspects, it can bring spiritual and other pride, attachment to past achievements rather than present growth, and the risk of becoming too comfortable with success. It can create resistance to new challenges if you become overly identified with past victories. The best use of the full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn energy involves gracefully accepting recognition while remaining humble and open to continued growth, and it supports the release to constantly prove yourself and perform instead of stepping into the authority you've genuinely earned through experience, In terms of rituals, the focus of this phase is about victory inventory, acknowledging your achievements, writing them down, celebrating completed projects and honouring the courage it took to reach this point. It kind of wants us to do things that ground us and connect us to our own stability and strength. So visualising yourself as the mountain goat who successfully handles, finds their way through treacherous terrain, or the sturgeon fish, And because you've done this, you're now able to guide others in similar journeys. It represents a mentor or teacher energy, sharing our hard-won wisdom with those still climbing, reaching the top, and also, giving you the ability to, sometimes we feel we have to be miles ahead to help others. No, we just, most of the times just need to be one step ahead, recognising that, only because we can teach others doesn't mean that we need to stop our own growth. Life is about continuously learning if you're living it right. In terms of affirmations, you can have I accept recognition gracefully, my achievements reflect courage and skill, and I'm ready to guide others from my position of earned expertise. It creates a space for these declarations and others that you may create for yourself to take root in practical reality. Now, in terms of the lunar energies involved, the sun in Cancer, as I said, brings emotional wisdom and nurturing leadership, reminding us that true authority includes caring for others on the journey journey, and this seasonal influence emphasises that success isn't just about reaching the summit, it's about helping others climb safely too. And the moon in Capricorn carries the energy of earned achievement and practical mastery, demanding that recognition is based on real accomplishment rather than simple basic ambition. And the full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn insists on authentic authority built through experience. Jupiter's conjunction to the moon expands the theme of recognition and abundance, showing that whatever acknowledgement comes during this full moon will be generous and long lasting, and the planetary energies combine to create opportunities for both material success and spiritual growth. And the grand trine in Earth creates a supportive foundation for practical magic where intentions manifest through grounded action rather than wishful thinking. And it increases the full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn's energy by providing multiple pathways for success to materialize, to happen. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that are happening at the time of this full moon in Capricorn. So we've got the moon making a biquintal to Venus, and it brings unexpected beauty to our achievements and reveals hidden talents and attracts recognition in subtle but meaningful ways. We may find ourselves appreciated for qualities we didn't even know we've possessed. It increases your ability to attract resources through authentic self-expression, but negatively, we can undervalue creative contributions or dismiss compliments. To use this energy practically, create something beautiful as an offering to your achievements, a gratitude altar or creative expression of your journey. The moon and the sun makes a semi-square to Mars, Saturn and Neptune. So this trio creates productive tension between emotional needs, life force, action, structure, routine and dreams. The full moon in Capricorn creates comprehensive guidance, this trio of energy, this semi-square that initially feels scattered but ultimately proves invaluable. Positively, it allows us to integrate and forces us to integrate practical action with spiritual vision and emotional wisdom, so it supports the needs of this full Sturgeon moon, right? Negatively, we can feel pulled in multiple directions with the energy being scattered. The sun's wanting us to do one thing, the moon, and then Mars and Saturn and Neptune's got us all over the place. So we can use things like breath work or movement practices to channel this full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn energy productively, And the grand trine between Mars in Virgo, Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus is the golden thread, as I mentioned earlier, running through this full Sturgeon moon in Capricorn. It allows and gives us opportunity to practically transform the things that need changing. Positively, it gives us effortless flow between vision, action and manifestation. So it's a really good energy to get stuff done, to get results and to feel at one within yourself. Negatively, we can miss opportunities by being complacent, nonchalant, just going with the flow. So we should set intentions for long-term changes that honour both stability and innovation. Now I'm going to talk about the Sabian degrees that are influencing this full moon in Capricorn. So we've got the moon at the 23rd degree of Capricorn, and as I said, the Sabian symbol is 2 awards for bravery in war, and it rules the muscle insertions of the upper and lower legs, and this can be where strength meets movement and courage gets its medals. So the core meaning of the Sabian symbol is the genuine acknowledgement for facing complex challenges with authentic bravery, particularly battles requiring both emotional and practical courage. It can help us integrate the warrior archetype with the wise ruler, where we fought our battles and now deserve recognition as someone with genuine authority born from experience. Positively, we can receive long overdue recognition, being acknowledged as a leader, mentor, more successfully completing challenging life phases and gaining respect from our peers. But negatively, we can, become too attached to the past achievements, as I said, and using war stories to avoid present challenges, using, worries me tales and getting lost in victim mentality. And we can also expect, recognition rewards without continued growth. So it wants us to release the need to prove our worth through constant struggle, and to let go of the struggle and to think about how we can overcome our past challenges and embrace the new. On the esoteric level, it reminds us of soul completion of significant karmic lessons around courage and leaderships, marking readiness for greater spiritual responsibility, spiritual pride, or using past accomplishments to avoid present growth challenges. It gives us recognition from both earthly and the celestial realms during this full moon in Capricorn. In terms of the health influences, it wants us to heal from battle fatigue and recognizing resilience. The time to release emotional armor no longer needed. It invites us to step into elder wisdom and guide others who are fighting battles you've already won. And it wants us to focus on looking after our legs, the upper and lower muscle in certain zones, where it's an excellent time for, there's all kinds of stretching exercises and releasing tension in these foundation muscles. And it wants us to heal from imposter syndrome and truly own our expertise and engage in subconscious rewiring to accept recognition as natural. So, some of us may think, I don't have the book smarts, I only got street smarts, or I only have book smarts, I don't have street smarts. And ideally, yes, it's ideal to have both in a way. But, I believe, as I said, everyone's got their niche, and I believe that everyone has experienced something in life, because, hey, we're all living on this planet, right? That, makes you a master of something in terms of whether it's been how you process grief, how you dealt with a breakup, how you've managed your mental health, So it's about tapping into this and giving yourself the respect where it's due. Practically wants us to focus on well-being strategies, update our professional CVs and profiles to reflect our expertise, mentor others facing similar challenges, like candles, create a ritual that acknowledges your victories, and accomplishments, and have the courage to give yourself the recognition for your achievements, in terms of the parts of your body to look after. As I said, stretching, especially in your hip flexors and hamstrings. Try warrior pose sequences and hip openers. Massage connection points with gratitude for supporting your life journey, as these muscles literally support your ability to stand tall and move forward. It's a time to release resistance to acknowledging achievements and step into your authority that's been earned through experience, rather than continuing to prove your worthiness. So the sun is at the 23rd degree of Cancer, and the Sabin symbol for this is a meeting of literary society, and it rules the gastric blood vessels, where mind meets hearts and stories nourish souls, right? So in terms of the description, it's about connecting with others and meeting them on an intellectual level, maybe joining or continuing to spend time at intellectual community gathering, event where you share and discuss literary works or spiritual or anything else that interests you, and it emphasizes the balance between emotional wisdom and achievement once again, and it wants us reminds us of the power of shared knowledge and community recognition of intellectual and creative contributions, and it wants us to integrate individual achievement with collective wisdom. Positively, we can again, receive recognition from intellectual peers, teamworks, colleagues, whatever you want to call them. It reminds us to celebrate with others, the wisdom that we've said and stuff like that. Negatively, it can create elitist, I'm better than you, or, because I used grammar properly, I'm a better writer than you, and all of that attitude, or any other sort of elitist thinking. It can excludes others from knowledge sharing. It can lead to intellectual, spiritual and other pride that separates rather than connects. And again, it wants us to bring attention to sharing our achievements with those who appreciate our journey and appreciating others' journey. On the esoteric occult level, it can activate the Akashic record, where our soul's wisdom is recognized by other souls on similar paths. Negatively, it's about not hoarding knowledge, it's about sharing it freely so we can create connection rather than separation. In terms of the health influences, it's about nourishment, nurturing through intellectual and creative community connections. It wants us to focus on the digestive system and how we digest, recognition and praise, how we heal through being truly seen and appreciated by those who understand our work. It wants us to join or create mastermind groups and share our expertise through teaching or writing. Celebrate our achievements with those who understand our profession, our field, Look out for communities that appreciate your particular gifts and offer to speak at relevant events, network. In terms of the parts of your body to care for, pay attention to digestive health and practice gratitude before meals. The gastric blood vessels represent how recognition and appreciation literally nourish your system, and the Persian sun emphasizes that achievements are meant to be shared with an appreciative community and release isolation around your accomplishments and allow others to celebrate your success with you. In terms of the karmic meaning, the karmic lesson centers on learning to receive recognition gracefully while using hard-won wisdom to help others, find their way through similar challenges. It's about graduating from student warrior to teacher guide, Past life memories that can come up may include experiences of leadership, military service, or situations where your courage was tested and proved. Dreams may center around ceremonies, awards, or a sense of being acknowledged for bravery, and these ain't random memories. They're sole reminders of your innate capacity for leadership. The collective karma involves humanity's relationship with authority and recognition, and the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn helps release old patterns where power was hoarded or recognition was withheld. It's part of a larger change in a shift towards more authentic service-based leadership that kind of, honors both achievement and humility. And the universe is asking you to accept your role as someone who can guide others through challenges, that you've already mastered as well. So in terms of, the full sturgeon moon ultimate release guide, it wants you to release the belief that you must suffer to be worthy of success, imposter syndrome, and downplaying your achievements, the need for constant external validation, old stories about not being enough in your chosen profession, perfectionism that prevents accepting recognition, the habit of comparing your journey to others. It illuminates why you may be hiding your light or using false modesty to avoid responsibility. It wants us to journal about times when you deflected compliments or minimized achievements. What are you afraid will happen if you fully own your expertise? It wants you to practice forgiving yourself for past mistakes you have already learned from. It's perfect for releasing guilt about decisions made from earlier levels of consciousness. We can only do and we only know what we know at the time, right? It reminds us that we don't need to keep punishing ourselves for choices made before we knew better, and it wants us to, as I said, create a victory inventory, list all the challenges you've overcome, the skills you developed or wisdom gained, light a candle for each major accomplishment and acknowledge the courage it took. And this isn't ego stroking, it's soul recognition that the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn demands. So it's all about giving yourself love, forgiveness and acceptance. So in terms of how it influences our relationships, in terms of family relationships, it helps us release old family patterns around achievement and recognition. We might finally receive acknowledgement from family members who previously didn't understand our path. It's an excellent time for releasing the need for parental approval and stepping into adult decision making. In terms of our professional friendships and mentor relationships, it wants us to receive and give guidance from someone we respect, or allow others to seek guidance from us and be open to mentoring others if they respect us. It wants us to release friendships based on competition rather than mutual support. In terms of romantic partnerships, it's about celebrating each other's achievements and building partnerships based on mutual respect and shared goals. It's time to release dynamics where one person's success threatens the others. In terms of self-partnered, it's about developing a mature relationship with your own authority and expertise, and releasing the inner critic and being open to self-acknowledgement as a spiritual practice. In terms of purely professional relationships, it's a powerful time for networking and receiving recognition from colleagues or industry peers. You might receive unexpected acknowledgement for your work or be offered increased responsibility at the time of this full moon. So in terms of questions you can ask yourself, in terms of professional recognition patterns, you can ask yourself, what achievements am I still waiting for others to acknowledge, and how can I recognise them myself? This question helps identify where you might have been giving your power away to external validation. You can ask yourself, what battles have I already won that I keep refighting in my mind? And this reveals patterns of mental replay that drain your energy during this full sturgeon moon. And having wasted a lot of energy on this myself, it's very important we try and limit this as much as we can, because understanding your patterns allows you to become more self-directed in what thoughts you choose and how you celebrate your growth. You can ask yourself, how have my difficult experiences prepared me to guide others, and am I ready to accept that responsibility? And this helps us to confront the natural evolution growth from student to teacher that the full moon in Capricorn represents. It reminds us that our struggles weren't just for us, they were preparation for service, helping each other in healthy ways, and if you truly want to, because not everybody does want to help everyone, but if you can, it can really, uplift someone else's life, but make sure you uplift yourself first. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk about different advice for all of the 12 sun, moon and rising signs. So Aries, releasing patience around recognition. Your courage is being noted by the right people at the right time during this full moon in Capricorn. Focus on sustainable leadership rather than rushing to the front. Taurus, it's about releasing stubborn attachment to old methods, techniques, ways of doing things, and being open to innovative new approaches to your craft, to your creations, and it supports your practical approach to success. Gemini, your communication skills are being recognized in professional settings. Release scattered energy and focus on becoming known for specific expertise during this full moon in Capricorn rather than trying to be good at everything. Cancer, this full moon opposes your sun sign, so it highlights the balance between emotional wisdom and practical achievement. Release the need to choose between nurturing and succeeding, and balance both. Leo, your natural leadership is being called forward. Release the tendency to lead from ego and step into heart-centered authority that inspires rather than dominates. Virgo, the grand trine strongly supports your methodical, analytical approach to excellence. Release perfectionism that prevents completion and be open to excellence in progress. Libra, focus on partnerships that support your professional growth. Release relationships where your achievements are minimized or where you shrink to make others comfortable during this full sturgeon moon in Capricorn. Scorpio, your ability to transform challenges into wisdom is being recognized. Release the need to hide your intensity and let your depth become your professional strength. During this full moon in Capricorn, Sagittarius, your philosophical approach to success is gaining recognition. During this full sturgeon moon in Capricorn, release the need to conform to traditional achievement models and trust your unique path. Capricorn, this is your full moon. Your years of steady climbing are being rewarded. Release the belief that you haven't achieved enough and accept the recognition you've earned during this full sturgeon moon in Capricorn. Aquarius, with the moon moving into your sign today, later, you're being called to innovate traditional approaches to success, upgrading them, release conformity and trust your revolutionary instincts. Pisces, your intuitive approach to success is being validated during this full moon. Release the belief that spiritual people can't be materially successful and be open to both prosperity and purpose. So release the belief that spiritual people can't be materially successful and be open to both prosperity and purpose. So now I'm just going to talk a bit more how we can use this sturgeon moon's energy in the real world. So as I said, it's perfect for accepting rewards, promotions, recognition, stepping into leadership roles, completing major projects, releasing perfectionism. Use this time to update professional profiles, apply for advanced positions, and celebrate achievements publicly. Avoid false modesty or self-depreciation during this full sturgeon moon in Capricorn. Don't minimize accomplishments or deflect compliments. Resist the urge to immediately move on to the next challenge without acknowledging what you've completed. It's a time for raising your rates, the prices you charge, in terms of the financial lunar magic, negotiate your salary, invest in professional development during this full moon. The universe supports increased abundance based on proven expertise. In terms of relationship magic, focus on relationships that celebrate your growth and achievements and release connections that require you to play small or compete rather than collaborate. In terms of health and wellness, pay attention to your legs and hips. Practice standing meditation or grounding exercises that help you feel connected to the earth and your own stability. In terms of your spiritual development, it supports integrated mystical insights with practical leadership. Release the separation between spiritual practice and worldly responsibilities. In terms of creative projects, submit work for awards or recognition. Update portfolios to reflect growth and teach workshops in your area of expertise. And release perfectionism, that keeps you from saving your gifts, and ultimately, just accept the sort of the fact that this is like a graduation ceremony for your soul, asking you to finally accept the diploma of the school of life that you've earned through years of dedicated effort and genuine courage, just by living, breathing, doing, battling, surviving, achieving. The full moon in Capricorn's meaning it isn't just about past battles, it's about recognizing that you've developed real wisdom and skill that others need, and the magic happens when you stop seeing yourself as someone still proving their worth and accepting your role as someone who has valuable experience to share. It's releasing you from the apprentice phase of your life and welcoming you to mastery, from the student to the teacher, but remembering that we're always learning. And as the moon moves into Aquarius, we're being guided towards new forms of leadership that honor both tradition and revolution, and your next chapter involves using your hard-won authority to create positive change in your community through the wisdom gained from this full moon in Capricorn. Trust that the universe has witnessed your achievements, accept the recognition gracefully, and prepare to guide others up the mountain you've already climbed. Your courage has earned you this moment during the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn. Be fully open to it. So that's the end of this very in-depth analysis of the full sturgeon moon in Capricorn that happens on the 9th of August. Thanks for listening. I'm Amani, your holistic karmic astrological life coach. Take care and see you next time.